decided not to.
It's automatically shutting off. Was it? Turn it on.
No. No. You're. It says. Oh, yeah. Sorry. We'll start with the invocation this evening.
Yeah, Kevin couldn't make it. He's scheduled for the reg meeting. Unfortunately. So I'll send you all.
For somebody to do this. I just don't know when, why. There were flashy boys underneath the rock. We had a camera in there and you could see spaces. In recent weeks, the team has found links of a chain that could be 500 years old. As well as potentially 700-year-old English bag seal near this feature. I'll show you some really good stuff.
I'd like everybody to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 7:04 p.m. And next, I'd like to have a motion to approve the agenda this evening.
Roll call.
Oh, roll call, sorry. Roll call, I skipped a line.
Mayor Pro Tem Hart,
Here.
Trustee Schaefer,
Here.
Trustee Wineland,
Here.
Trustee Shantz,
Here.
Trustee Smith,
Here.
and Trustee Stahl is absent at this time.
Now we'd like to move on to approval of the agenda for this evening. So there is one small spelling error on the minutes. That needs to be fixed. It's at the invocation at the top.
We're not there.
There you
Oh, so that's the agenda.
So there was a motion to approve the agenda. Is there a
I'll
second?
second that.
Who was the motion? Sorry,
Bailey.
thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
All right.
All those opposed, say nay. Agenda is approved. Mayor Pro Tem, we have an agenda.
Thank you. So at the moment, we'd like to do public comment. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes. When you are recognized, please stand, state your name, and then address the board in a professional manner. The Board of Trustees may not respond to your comments during this meeting. Rather, they may take your comments and suggestions under advisement, and your questions will be directed to the appropriate person or department for follow-up.
Is there a reminder?
As a reminder,
As a reminder for the public comment, if you have any comments related to anything that's on the agenda, including the ordinances or resolution, this would be the time that you would get up and speak, or that you would speak from online if they've signed up.
thank you. And do we have people for public comment this evening?
I don't have anybody signed up. No. Okay, I don't have anybody here on paper.
Anybody online? Okay.
Okay. So, that's it.
Do they raise their hand or?
They're
I
not.
don't see anyone. Okay, there's no public comment, so we'll move on to approval of the minutes from the December 9th, 2025 regular monthly meeting.
That's what's staying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, I got too far ahead of myself. Under the invocation, pledge of allegiance, it should be after Kevin Clark, not Kevin Fark, so it's just a typo.
Okay.
Okay.
Trustee
Is there-
Schaefer pointed that out.
So a motion to approve the December minutes.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes with the correction.
No second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, minutes were approved.
Okay. There's a proclamation this evening, honoring the life and service of Mayor Teresa Terry Howard. And the proclamation to honor Terry goes as is. Whereas Mayor Teresa Terry Howard faithfully served the town of Kiowa, Colorado as a trustee and as the mayor, dedicating her time, energy, and leadership to the residents of this community. And whereas Mayor Howard exemplified integrity, compassion, and a deep commitment to public service, always striving to act in the best interests of the town and its residents. And whereas during her term of office, Mayor Howard worked collaboratively with the town board, staff, and community members to advance the town's goals, strengthen civic engagement, and promote the health, safety, and welfare of the community. Whereas Mayor Howard's leadership, character, and dedication left a lasting impact on the town of Kiowa, and her contributions will be remembered with respect and gratitude. And whereas the passing of Mayor Howard during her term of office is a profound loss to the town and its residents and all who had the privilege to serve alongside her. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of Trustees of the town of Kiowa, Colorado, that January 27th, 2026 shall be remembered and recognized as Mayor Teresa Terry Howard Day in the town of Kiowa. A day to honor Mayor Howard's life service and dedication to her community, and the town expresses its deepest condolences to her family, friends, and loved ones. Be it further proclaimed that a copy of this proclamation be entered into the official records of the town and presented to the family of Mayor Howard as a lasting expression of the town's respect and remembrance. Do we want to adopt this proclamation today? Absolutely.
Motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt the proclamation.
And I'll second that. Thank you. And now,
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Okay, proclamation is adopted.
thank you. So if we can, just a minute of silence so we can remember Terry, and she was such a wonderful person. Sorry. hold on a second.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Next on our agenda is the proclamation celebrating America, the 250th, and Colorado's 150th, a dual anniversary commemoration. And we'll speak to that if we can.
This proclamation is in recognition of what a special year we're in with the anniversary of the 250th for America and 150th for Colorado. Whereas the year 2026 marks the 250th anniversary of the signing of the United States Declaration of Independence and marks Colorado's 150th anniversary of statehood. And whereas the United States Congress establishes a bipartisan American 250 Commission to plan, encourage, develop, and coordinate the observance of the 250th anniversary of the United States founding. And whereas the Colorado General Assembly established the America 250 Colorado 150 Commission to lead statewide efforts in Colorado to celebrate our communities. reflect on our shared history, honor that which Colorado unique, and strive toward a more perfect union. And whereas since 1912, the town of Kiowa has been a proud and enduring contributor to the shared history of the state and the nation for more than 114 years. And whereas it is both appropriate and meaningful for the town of Kiowa to participate in the America 250 Colorado 150 celebrations by remembering our past while looking ahead to a shared future. And whereas the Board of Trustees of the town of Kiowa encourages the town's community to create and participate in programs that will commemorate the history of our town, our state, and our nation. And now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of Trustees on the town of Kiowa, Colorado. This town of Kiowa will fully engage in commemorative activities to celebrate and honor the 250th anniversary of the American independence and the 150th anniversary of Colorado statehood. Be it further proclaimed that a copy of this proclamation be entered into the official records of the town.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we have a motion to accept this proclamation?
I'll make the motion, we accept it. I think it's pretty cool.
Yes. Second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, so. Aye.
Say aye.
Nay, thank you. And let it show that trustee Stahl is now at the meeting at 7:12 p.m.
Okay.
Have to balance the door.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I told him.
it's all good fun. So, thank you, we're glad you're here. Please, don't be here.
So proclamation celebrating America 250, Colorado 150 is approved.
It's on the agenda.
Do you want me to explain?
Yeah.
the-
Please, thank you. Nobody wants to sign, right?
Thank you.
So for the consent agenda, one thing that we noticed as we were looking at the town's basically prior history on how y'all have been operating for your meetings is you had consent items on your agenda. But y'all would still discuss each item and approve them all separately. That's fine, but that's not typically how consent items or consent agendas work. The purpose behind a consent item or agenda on your meeting agenda is to include routine items on there that you basically can just do one motion to approve. And then everyone approves, and then everything that's on that consent agenda is then approved. You don't have to go through each and every item. It helps with efficiency of the meeting. However, you definitely have the information that is part of the consent agenda as part of your packet, so you can read everything that's part of the consent in advance. If there's anything that you want to take off the consent agenda and actually discuss, then at this point in time is when you would say, you know, I move to, or I would like to take something off the consent agenda. This is what I want to take off of it. And you would tell us, and then we would take that off into general business. So I'm letting you know because we're starting to move into a more efficient pattern for the meetings. So you'll start seeing this consent agenda on the agenda with language that explains what's supposed to be occurring. All right, just so y'all are aware of that. Does anyone have any questions at this time about what we just discussed?
So if there's something that we wanna discuss, unless we don't need, or, but I didn't wanna discuss it, then I would, but if I did wanna discuss it, then we would have to move it.
Then we would take it off, yeah.
Okay.
As of right now, I don't believe there's anything in your rules and procedures that restrict an individual trustee to be able to take something off of the consent agenda just on their own. There are some cities, municipalities that will only allow something to come off the consent agenda if there's a motion, a second, and the majority of the sitting trustee members vote to remove it. And that usually has occurred whenever there's a situation where maybe one trustee is constantly just taking multiple things off of a consent agenda to nitpick, and it takes a lot of time. So if that doesn't happen, there's no real reason to put that kind of restraint in place. And that restraint is not in place right now. But for example, if Schaefer wanted to talk about something that's involved with the expenditures for year to date of 2026. We just asked that we remove that off the consent agenda, put it under general items to be discussed. Then there would be a motion to approve the consent agenda with the expenditures removed. And then that would go forward. And y'all would vote on that. Sometimes you can have multiple resolutions, like if there's resolutions for contracts. A lot of times those are underneath consent agenda items. You're supposed to be reviewing those contracts before you get here. They're usually very run-of-the-mill contracts for services that repeat each year. So sometimes you might have 10 items underneath the consent agenda and they're just contract. So this just helps y'all from having to actually go through and vote to approve each and every single one of those. That makes sense. But it's still a part of your packet. It's still a part of the packet that goes out to the public. Everyone can see it and you can all know what you're approving. All right. So with that in mind, at this time, is there? You want to do that one?
Is there any, sorry, and any discussion? Right?
Yeah, does anyone have anything they want to take off of the consent agenda? And if there's not, then is there a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
I'd make the motion to approve the consent agenda.
And then you do your vote.
All those in favor say aye,
Aye.
and those opposed say nay. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a aye. Aye. Okay, aye. And so the consent agenda. I'm sorry, how do I say that? Motion
Yeah, the items on the consent agenda are approved.
are approved.
Welcome.
Sorry, guys. Bear with me while I go through this.
It's okay. It's transition.
Okay, so our next one, general business. We have a couple of ordinances.
I will be happy to go through those for
We're gonna
you.
go through those for us.
Yes.
Thank you.
Ordinance number 2026-01. An ordinance of the town of Kiowa, Colorado, establishing a temporary moratorium on acceptance of new land use applications. This has been put on here by my office. I know it can be scary. I want to walk y'all through how short and quick this would be. As the ordinance says. Gotta make sure I have my right documents too. As the ordinance says, this would only last until March 31st of 2028 at most.
2028.
2026.
Oh my
I
God.
was like,
Wait a minute, Josh.
Yeah, sorry. They just trying to fast forward us by 2 years. So March 31st of
It's been a while.
2026, so this year. It can be terminated sooner by action of the board. It can be extended by action of the board, but it cannot automatically go forward or extend past this date without the board actually taking official action. The reason why this is going forward is because I've informed you before. When the prior zoning ordinance of 2024, which is ordinance number 2, was adopted by the board, I have found a lot of procedural issues that are in place with that zoning ordinance. Including the ordinance itself contains conflicting action language. For example, section 4 of this ordinance says the adoption of the town of Kiowa, Colorado zoning code of 2024 hereby repeals ordinance number 2, series 2024, which is this ordinance, by the way. And any other zoning ordinances heretofore adopted by the town of Kiowa. So basically, it just repealed any and all prior ordinances of zoning that y'all had, and also supposedly kind of repealed itself. Doesn't make any sense. The procedures for adopting a code by reference were not followed. There's very specific procedures that have to be followed. All of this is leading up to the point that there's a large question from a legal standpoint that your staff, your legal team, your planners are running into, which is what are we even looking at when we're trying to review applications? When developers or business owners who are looking to do any kind of zoning changes or applications are filing, applications with the town, we want them to be able to know what the actual requirements and procedures and criteria of the town are for approval. If they don't know that, they're spending more time than they need to trying to figure out what is in a code that might not really even be applicable anymore. So my office has already taken steps to identify to the best of our abilities what you were supposed to have been adopting back in April of 2024. Plus any amendments that have occurred by ordinance to that zoning code since then. We will use grant funds, which we have been approved for, which is great, underneath DOLA's Prop 123 funding, to be able to take all of that zoning code, bring it back to you, have it adopted properly and codified properly, and also update your zoning code map. You did a wonderful job of adopting new districts and district names. Your zoning code map does not reflect that. So people are left still going, well, what is a town center? What is the zone of that? We don't know. So these things are going to be corrected. The moratorium stops applications from being filed because once applications are filed, it automatically creates a timeline that we have to immediately start responding to and providing informations and responses to developers. But we don't know what to tell them and we don't know what your code is. So the moratorium is simply saying, hey, hold on, like a month for us to go ahead and get this officially in place. So when you are filing any kind of applications, we will have this information for you. So that is all that this ordinance is doing. Again, it is temporary in nature. It has automatic termination date, so that way it's not indefinite. And if I can get to you by the meeting in March, everything that we need, so that's my plan, for us to put in place this ordinance and a zoning map. Y'all could then approve it at the March meeting. It'll take 10 days for that to become effective. And then we can also within that same ordinance say upon the effectiveness of this zoning code ordinance, the moratorium ordinance is now terminated. So it doesn't even have to wait until March 31st. So that's what I was meaning, we can actually kind of terminate it sooner, potentially. So that is what is before y'all today. Are there any questions that y'all have for staff and myself?
Is this gonna?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I just thought it's a good idea. I'm sorry, Mona.
Is this going to be what the new boundaries are for town center?
That's part of this.
Okay.
Yeah, to update your zoning map, and actually have an updated official zoning map, because you don't have one right now. That's hard for me from a legal standpoint.
It's just formally putting in place what your original intention was.
Yeah.
That just wasn't done in the proper order.
Right. Okay,
And then a mess.
are we ready?
So you need
Okay.
your motion.
So do I have a motion to approve ordinance number 2026-01 for the town of Kiowa, Colorado, an ordinance of the town of Kiowa, Colorado, establishing a temporary moratorium on accepting new land use applications?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion? That you'll have debate?
Are there any applications in the system as of right now?
No,
No. And this wouldn't apply to an application that was in your system right now. It
Any
only
new
applies.
Understood,
Yeah.
just for clarif-
right, no, we don't have any right now.
And that would be my advice to staff if they were to have any application that was pending. And there is language in here that explains that any permits, approvals, anything that has occurred prior to still remain in place. Everything is still, operational for them. This is just for new applications. And it's only for applications of, that are zoning or subdivision in nature from a land use standpoint. So it doesn't affect business licensing, you know, any kind of liquor licensing, any of that kind of stuff.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay. Ordinance has been passed.
Okay,
This one, this is
so.
the next one.
Yeah, we'll go to the next one.
Mm.
So this next ordinance is also proposed by our office. It's a housekeeping ordinance. As I continue to go through the town's code, charter, and your ordinances, I'm looking for specific authority that's granted to the different, administration, to trustees, to planning commission, in order to make sure that action that's being taken is actually official. And it's not necessarily invalid, and, or could it be argued against as being valid? I believe the status quo for the town is for the town administrator, whoever it is, to be able to sign contracts once they've been approved, basically, by the town. Your charter gives that contract signing authority to bind the town legally to the mayor. And it says the mayor has that authority unless there's an ordinance that basically says otherwise. For the town administrator, the code says that the administrator has the authorities that are granted to the administrator by ordinance of the board of trustees. We can't find an ordinance that actually provides clearly the authority to the town administrator to execute contracts that bind the town. So this is a housekeeping ordinance. I've drafted in a way that it's also ratifying contracts that y'all have approved that she has signed. Cause I don't wanna create kind of a legal concern with any kind of contracts that already exist that y'all have already approved. This is just a housekeeping, so that way going forward, if there's ever a question of, well, does the town administrator have the authority to sign a contract and bind, you know, an entity into actually completing the services that they've promised? Because if the contract's not valid, then they can easily say, well, yeah, but that was not a valid contract, so I don't have to do the services. So I want to be able to say, no, there's this ordinance, it's right here, that's why it's valid. So this is really a housekeeping ordinance. Is there any questions for staff or for myself?
No, I don't have any. Okay, so do we have a motion to accept ordinance number 2026-02, Town of Kiowa, Colorado? An ordinance of the Town of Kiowa, Colorado, authorizing the town administrator to sign all contracts binding the town when authorized by resolution adopted by the board.
So moved. Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Thank you. Motion or ordinance 2026-02 has passed. Thank you.
Thank you, board.
And now we have staff reports is next. So it's at the top of that list for Mayor Howard's celebration of life services. So services for Terry will be on Saturday, February 7th at 10:30 a.m. in the Elbert County Fairgrounds Ag Building at 95 Ute Avenue. The order of the service, and I think you guys got this, did you? And,
No, I've not, that's a draft.
oh, this is a draft.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So the draft says musical prelude, introduction, words of welcome. Then the Douglas County Sheriff's Office Honor Guard, and bagpipes will be playing.
Where is this?
Yeah, no, that's a draft because none of that is final
It's
yet.
been sent to
Oh,
you
gotcha.
yet?
Okay, thank you.
Tammy,
Yes,
none of that is final yet. That's why it's a draft.
okay,
Just the where we're at is February
Okay.
7th, Saturday at 10:30 is
Yeah.
the service.
I did read that.
Yeah,
Okay,
with the
so-
reception following immediately after at the exhibit building.
and should I continue?
Yes.
Well, not reading the program, no, because
Okay.
it's not finalized yet.
Yeah, it's not finalized, okay. I get that. So I hope everybody can attend. And then also, this Thursday. Or do you want to speak to that? I'm sorry, that's yours.
No, we can,
This Thursday.
this Thursday, the honor guard has a ceremonial, aspect of this. It's important to them that they fly the flags that they hand the family in the town on the flagpole that, she represented. So they will be coming out to, fly the colors, both flags on our flagpole Thursday afternoon or Thursday morning. And anybody's invited to come stand on town hall lawn and witness the ceremony of how that happens. But that's done when there's a death in a position such as Terry's, honoring her service to the town and to the community.
And what time is that?
And
10 o'clock this
Yeah.
Thursday.
Okay.
yeah, they'll be coming in town at 10 and do it. It'll be a quick thing and just out here on the front lawn. And then they'll remove them again on the 7th and fold them for the ceremony.
To present them to her family. So, staff report, Board of Trustees. I have here 2025 Echo Christmas for Kids distribution. Trustee Wineland, would you like to speak to that?
Yeah, so most of you guys were there at the event on beginning of December, but I don't know, it was so blown away, like I was so blown away by how much effort goes into everything. So I got with Erica and asked her to give me like a couple of stats on some stuff just to share with you guys if you didn't already know. But she had said that it started in 2010 in collaboration with the Elizabeth Fire Department. The Elizabeth Fire Department handed it over to Echo. They, along with the Fire Department, still play a huge role in the program. They load and unload the boxes of food prepared by the American Legion Post 82. And they did 340 boxes of food this year, so that's pretty impressive. I don't know if any of you guys, I know that I think both of you guys were down there at that's so,
Christmas event,
yeah, that's
wasn't
the
it?
first
This
time.
was
that
our
I've been
biggest
there.
one, so you got to witness the biggest one that we.
Like, I kind of knew what happened behind the scenes, but not really, so I just had like a new appreciation for it, it's really impressive. Anyway, so they reach all of Elbert County, all the way to Agate, Deer Trail, Simla. There were 121 applications this year and 379 kids served. And the need is growing each year, which, like you said, that this was the largest. Erica usually relies on 40 volunteers that assist with the event, and she starts planning all of this in July, so
Yeah.
that's, I mean, it's a short little break before it all starts again. The team goes through each application individually and ensures that each kid and their requests have been met. It's incredibly tremendous and time consuming. I'm like, yeah, you could, and then she gave a couple of examples that were kind of cool. So a 16-year-old boy asked for contact lenses so that he can use them for sports like his brother. So that was pretty cool. An 8-year-old girl, she just asked for food. So you know that the demand out here is pretty, or I know my 8-year-old wouldn't ask for food, well, yeah, she maybe would. And then an 18-year-old boy wanted like food gift cards. It totally chokes me up because it's like everybody has done so much for this community. It was a huge, like, I was just blown away by seeing how much was actually done and how many people are, they don't even get some of the credit, like, hey, you helped with that. Like 40 volunteers, that's incredible. So I wanted to share that with you guys because I thought it was pretty cool.
Thank you. It's an awesome,
Mhm.
um, excuse me, it's an awesome event for the town and for Echo.
Yes.
It helps so many. Didn't realize that there was that many families in need out here.
I did not either, until I walked into the fellowship hall and saw how much was going on. I'm like, holy moly, so, yeah, pretty cool what's going on out here.
Okay. And should I ask for anybody else?
Anybody else on board?
Okay. Next, Josh, our town attorney, would like to update us on the Mavericks litigation.
I don't know if likes the word there, but I will.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone wants to litigation updates. At this point in time, we have come to an internal consensus with the litigation attorney that's defending Nick. Is defending the town with Sursa on a settlement agreement that has been sent over to Mavericks' side. We haven't heard back from them yet, though, but it has been moved over now, so falls in their court, basically. I do have one other update, and it's regarding the IGA with the county regarding real estate in Kiowa. So I got my hands on it, and I don't know what it was trying to say or not, but what I will say, so try not to disparage other people, is that it doesn't have a clear intent on what was supposed to be accomplished. I understand in general what the board would like to see happen. I don't know if there has been actual communication with the county's manager, county attorney, and a commissioner, where we all got together and actually came up with a term sheet, that they would agree to. I'm gonna propose that we take that step because you don't really want to be paying me, to be drafting an IGA that I have no idea if the county will even approve it. We would really want to put the horse before the cart, and the horse would be that meeting with the county officials for us to have a clear term sheet written out, that we then prepare a contract or an IGA that's related to it.
So that you're all speaking the same language.
Yes, definitely. And understanding there are concerns, with the county as a non-tax entity, owning property or even leasing property long term, and the impact financially that can have on the town. There are methods and ways that we can maybe look at entering into an agreement for the town to at least collect some funds. A lot of times we call, payment of fees in lieu of taxes. So those kind of things are stuff we can actually discuss with the county, that county might, come to an agreement with us on. But I'm going to propose that, Kim and I be able to work with the actual officials at the county who are going to be the ones that are going to either approve or deny an IGA, to even decide whether or not we can come to the table together. In general, is there a consensus towards that direction? You're not taking action, official action by saying anything. You're just saying, yeah or no.
Yeah, I think that's the right step.
Well, I mean, if it's an IGA that we've already approved, I'm not sure which one you're talking
Y'all
about.
haven't approved
We
it
haven't
yet.
approved it,
Yeah.
and neither has the county, so this is to put together with them, so we can do a communication of what is expected of each entity.
Well, because you started out talking about, you have a general idea what the board wants to see. You have
Oh,
a general
and-
idea of what the board wants to see.
And that you're not wanting the county to be leasing or buying property in the town for long periods
Yeah.
because it's impacting your financial income
That
due
one.
to lack of,
Got
it.
yeah,
Mhm.
that I understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood.
And I agree, it's for the town size and for the amount of plots that you have, that you can actually gain any kind of financial income to help support your residents. Having that taken away by non-taxing entities it's hard.
Yeah.
It comes hard, so. All right, so I'm hearing a general consensus of yes, please get this taken care of.
Yes, please get her done.
All right. Put that down. I have a copy of, it's just a draft that was put together.
You can't even look at it without laughing.
I know, that's pretty rough. Okay, that was my update.
Okay.
So we've got that town administrator.
Okay, mine's a little lengthy, so first I'm gonna give you some updates on the grants. With regard to our DOLA grant for the sidewalk and stormwater project, I requested and received an extension of that grant for for that project. It was set to expire on January 31st. We've already run through a couple years under that grant. The reason for the extension is because we've reached the end of this work. We're moving out of the design and engineering phase and into the part of the contract where they start seeking funding to move us into construction. Well, because of the state and federal political climate right now, the availability of funding to move us into construction is pretty much non-existent. So we have a couple options right now. There's one we're working through, that's a federal grant. It is an extensive grant. And by that, I mean our budget under this project with Kimley Horn for that portion of it is about $40,000, and it will cost us about 30,000 of that to go after this one federal grant. The caution there is it's a federal grant. And they're not happy with our state right now. So to spend $30,000 of that grant money to seek this money without some sort of clarification, or I don't even know what the word is right now, that we would even be considered competitively for it would be irresponsible of us. So we're working through that right now. That's due on February 24th. Kimberly Warren is not worried about the turnaround on that and getting it submitted by February 24th. But right now I am working with our congresswoman and our senator to see if I can get some definitive answer if it's even worth our time. We would be able to get that project fully funded under that if they considered us. But for example, there were two projects in Colorado last year considerably below our ask, which would be in the neighborhood of about $10 million. They were asking $50,000 and $100,000, and they were both denied, which is ridiculous under that grant. There's billions of dollars to be granted under that. And there was no explanation as to why they weren't funded. So it only left to assumption. With that said, I got the draft 10-year plan from CDOT. With that draft plan that we have not approved yet under the Eastern TPR. By our project being included in that plan, that's afforded us a little over $2 million in funding toward that. So right now, with the funding that they were already transferring to us and by adding us to the 10-year plan, we now have about $4 million to move into construction. But the total construction cost of that will be about 15 million. So that's why we're still seeking 10. So working through that. Proposition 123 incentive funding. Josh touched on this earlier. That was a $50,000 award. Josh and I worked together last month to secure that incentive funding. It's tied to the town opting into the Proposition 123 affordable housing. These funds will be used to improve our development review processes and encourage affordable housing development, as well as do the critical updates we need to add that to our code and get things straightened out. Our GOCO, we finally were able to submit our second concept paper to GOCO on January 15th. We feel really good about this. There was extensive back and forth communication with GOCO staff. There was a lot of collaboration, and we feel really in a good position with that. We're expecting some sort of decision to be made as far as being asked to come in and apply officially in the middle of February. And if we are, that we'll be submitting that in March with some sort of final decision to be made by June.
And that's the
Parks
parks
project. Here's a great one. I applied at the end of last year when we started the 250, 150 celebrations. There was a lot of very large funders that came in and put money into a pot. And what that money does is municipalities from all over Colorado submitted applications for various things, whether they're events or they're art installations or anything related to the 250, 150 celebrations for this year. You can apply for grant money to try to get those funded. If you're creating a special event for this year, again, you can apply for money for that. What I applied for was an opportunity for Kiowa to be selected as one of only 50 drone shows in the state. And we were selected as one of them. Oh, I had submitted our Colorado Day ice cream social because that's our celebration and it has been our celebration for over 40 years, thanks to Daryl Abbey. Celebrating Colorado. So that is the event they've earmarked for this. What that it will provide us is a drone show that features 500 drones in a 15-minute presentation that will be divided in what they call 3 chapters. The first chapter is showing recognition and appreciation of 3 major donors that made that happen. That is UC Health, Chevron, and Tallgrass Energy, who, by the way, came in after this and put in more money toward it so that Kiowa could better afford it.
That's fantastic.
And by this, what I mean, those drone shows normally to this extent cost upwards of $40,000. That brought that cost down to us to $13,000. So I spent last weekend like a madman sending out requests for sponsorship for our fireworks and our drone show this year. I do feel like we can get them both funded.
Is that gonna be at the fairgrounds?
We don't know yet, we're still in the beginning stages of planning this. So, we're just 27 days in the new year, and I haven't been able to have a event planning committee meeting yet because of all the circumstances. So we'll get started on looking at what that will entail, but our ice cream social this year will include that drone show. These chapters, just so you know, as it was explained to me, the first chapter is like a 5-minute. The first 5 minutes of the presentation will be recognizing those donors. The second 5 minutes will be a celebration of Colorado's 150th anniversary. And where this makes this unique is the third chapter and the last 5 minutes of it will be customized to Kiowa. So they're designing their show to have 2 aspects that are just specific to Kiowa. I don't know what that looks like yet. I'm gonna work with our Main Street board to figure that out. But yeah, that's gonna be a great time this year with that.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
So would this be like a drone show with a narrative or narration?
yes,
Oh, nice. Okay.
yeah. And it will have to happen, just so you know, it will have to happen at the fairgrounds. Mainly because the only open space we have in the sky that's big enough for 500 drones to be visibly seen, because unlike the fireworks that can be seen from all the way around, a drone show can only be seen from the front. So it will have to happen at the fairgrounds so that the town is on the south end of the fairgrounds, and no matter where you're at, you'll be able to see it up in the sky over
Is
the
this
fairgrounds.
on the 4th of July?
It'll be August 1st on Colorado Day.
August 1st, okay.
Mhm. And then I believe I told you guys this in December, our permanent restroom facility grant that we received from DOLA. Again, another instance of our problems with the state and federal funding right now. We were granted $600,000 for those permanent bathroom structures. Has been reduced, but I've been told temporarily to $200,000. The shutdown caused issues at HUD, which is perpetuating this problem. So they have taken back $400,000 of it and told us that it would be reinstated once the federal conditions have stabilized. To date, I've not been told they have. So right now, this is where we stand with it. Kiowa Main Street. I attended a board meeting for the Colorado level of Main Street and gave a presentation as to why Kiowa should be accepted into their program along with 3 other communities. And at the end of last year, I was advised that we were chosen and received full community designation along with the other 3 communities. With that, we immediately became eligible for grant funding, which included a $5,000 grant designation that the Main Street Board plans to utilize toward Kiowa's first mural project. And $3,000 of support for me to attend the national level of the Main Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma in April. Attendance at that conference will be valuable in networking with other communities from across the nation and giving me really gainful insight into economic development strategies that they're using and best practices that could be applied here in Kiowa.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so really excited about that. In addition, I did submit over the weekend that Ready Grant application requesting a $50,000 funding for their newly adopted sign and facade improvement program, the one that you guys approved for them to seek the funding on. So we'll find out about that, I believe in March. So more to come on that. And they have planned several fundraising and community engagement activities for this year. In their first meeting of this year, once they realized you adopted the ability to remove the alcohol restrictions from the park, instead of reinventing the wheel, it was their decision to come in on the music in the park events that the town already holds and add an added aspect of the alcohol fundraising on the Main Street side. So they'll be coming and applying for special event liquor licenses to be able to provide alcohol during the music in the park events this summer. And they also, because the drive-in movie night was the one that they had last year on November 1st was so successful and people wanted to see it come back, they didn't want to over commit themselves. And they planned just two this year. One will be on June 13th and the other will be August 22nd. We are coordinating with the school to hold them back at the school again.
Mhm.
With that said, with the town events, the events right now, the preliminary schedule for them for 2026 are the annual Easter egg hunt will be Saturday, April 4th, with a snow date of Saturday, April 11th. April 4th is the Saturday before Easter, which will be April 5th. Our music in the parks will be Saturdays, 4 to 6:30, as they have been in the past. The first one being Memorial Day weekend on May 23rd, June 6th and June 20th. Right now, we have 4th of July and July 18th scheduled in July, and then August 15th and August 29th. The fireworks event, I have had discussions with the Fair Board president. They were very pleased with the fireworks last year as a kickoff to the fair and has asked if we plan to have them again this year. And I did just receive our contract. There was a worry that the cost was going to be increased by 18%. And once they realized that this is our second year coming back, not our first year, the price will be the same. And we will receive, instead of 5% free product this year, we are now eligible for 10% free product. So it'll be a little bit longer show with bigger bangs this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that will be Saturday, July 25th. Again, our annual Colorado Day ice cream social and drone show now will be on August 1st. Fall Fest is Saturday, October 10th. Our Kiowa Christmas event featuring Echo Christmas for Kids kickoff and craft show, as well as the lighted car parade and tree lighting to follow, will fall on Saturday, November 28th. Additionally, 2026, because of the special year activities, we have been collaborating a few extra things. In addition to what I've just given you, Sasha and I have been working on organizing and collaborating with community member, because unknowingly, once we got underway in doing this, people were very vocal in the fact that one's already been done and we had no idea. But here's the thing, nothing says you can't do two. You know, there's different recipes, there's different stories people share. So
Yeah, volume two.
yeah, we're hoping, and you know, people have come and gone. since then into Kiowa, so, it'll be a new updated one, and, so, yeah, we're working through that and trying to capture that, evolving and enduring character of our community.
Hopefully we can get some more people signing up to
Yeah.
submit the recipes and
Yeah, so we already submitted the idea and trying to start working with the seniors over at the senior center, which we're very excited about it, so.
there.
Yes. Yes, John,
Just a suggestion for the mayor,
Mayor Pro Tem.
Mayor Pro Tem. You might have a community contest to submit a design for the cover of the volume 2 of the recipe book, incorporating the 250, 150 celebration.
And Sasha is coordinating
Yes.
that part of that too. Another thing we're working on. Good idea. Yeah, is trying to create a time capsule to commemorate this historic year. The goal is for it to be sealed during the Colorado Day Ice Cream Social, and preserved for the next 100 years. Planning for it is still in very early stages, and we're actively working on a concept development and logistics, and I'm working with Joe at the museum on how that will work. We're still very early on in that.
And what day of the week is August 1st?
It's actually Saturday this year.
So will that interfere with the fair?
It usually runs
Still-
concurrent.
Still working through that.
Because they have a concert usually.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah. Lastly, this started last year because of the events this year and the significance of this year. The town of Elizabeth approached us last year and they expressed a sincere desire to collaborate with us on a couple events for the 150, 250. And in a meeting with their acting administrator right now, on Monday, we kind of decided, again, going back to the not wanting to reinvent the wheel. We've already got a lot going on our event schedule this year, and so do they. We decided that we would just utilize 2 events that we already have in place that we're doing. So before we found out about the drone show, we talked about them coming in and working with us for the Colorado Ice Cream Social. And they're creating a 150, 250 barbecue event over at Running Creek Park. So we're still, again, very early stages of that. I want to get my event planning committee deeply involved in that. They're gonna bring their planning people down and start collaborating on what that looks like for both of our communities coming in together and making that a really good event, a really big event. So,
Neat.
yeah, so that's kind of where we're at right now. That's all I got,
Awesome. Thank you.
at least for the next 2
What a
weeks.
fun year.
Yeah, I'm hoping, excited.
Okay, moving into a study session.
We have a quick break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Anybody opposed to taking a quick break? 10 minutes, 5 minutes?
5 minutes at most.
5 minutes, come back at 8:05 or 8:04.
Somewhere else.
We'd like to resume our meeting for this evening after our break. I'd like to jump back in under our updates for Public Works.
And nothing under Public Works,
Okay.
and I do not have a code enforcement report that will be available until the April meeting.
Okay. All right. Now we'll move on to the study session. For filling a vacancy on the board.
And I'll be leading that one. Just so everyone's aware, this is a study session. This is not part of your general business, so there won't be any official action that's being taken. We'll talk about what official actions are recommended or should be taken. That can occur at the meeting in 2 weeks on February. And if you read through the memo that I previously provided, whenever I say should or recommended to be provided, that memo explains how some of the language within the charter and state statutes don't necessarily create very strict obligations on a town board to take certain actions. But there's an implied requirement that you take it by the fact that it's an obligation underneath your charter. But we'll be doing those actions at the next meeting. We'll put them on that agenda so the public is aware and they can be here for that whenever y'all are taking actions. This is really just a study session to allow for y'all to ask me questions that may have come up after you reviewed the memo. I know the memo is long. There's a lot of moving parts that are involved. I tried to provide as much example and real life practical scenarios that would at least kind of give you an idea of what is occurring. But at the same time, I'm happy to really talk through that with y'all tonight, okay? Okay. So as y'all know, right now, Tammy as Mayor Pro Tem, it will be acting as mayor until the office of mayor is filled. It has to be filled by y'all as the board, one of two ways. One is appointment, and then the other one is y'all can call a special election. I was informed that a special election, if y'all were to call one, would cost around
$30,000.
$30,000. That's not really unheard of, which is why we a lot of times encourage joint elections with the county each year, or not each year, but you know, when you all actually have your regular elections. So the appointment, so special election is definitely an option that y'all can take if y'all wanted to take it, as it explains in the memo that y'all received. There would have to be a motion, a vote, enough of you would have to vote on it, and then you would move forward with calling that election. The other option is the appointment. The appointment, if you appoint someone, regardless if it's someone from this board or from someone from the public, the appointment will only last until the next regular election, which your charter expressly states that your regular elections are November of the even year. So the appointment would actually last through the end of this year, but the office of mayor will be up for election for a 2-year term only this November. Anyone can run for it like normal. You can't run for trustee and the mayor position. If you are a trustee and you're running for the position of mayor, you would have to actually vacate your position as trustee or be willing to, you would have to give it up and it would have to be open for people to run for it, okay? So keeping that in mind. The appointment, if you appoint someone that's on the board now to the position of mayor, then you will basically create another vacant position on the board, which you would have to take steps to fill. So you would pretty much declare a vacancy on the board for the position of mayor. You would then move to appoint someone that's on the board. That person would then be appointed to the position of mayor. You would then have to declare a vacancy for a trustee position, and then you would have to appoint someone into that position or hold a special election for it, either one. That ultimately means that someone from the public that's out there, as you are all part of the public as well, would be taking a position, whether it's mayor or a trustee position on the board, okay, through the appointment process or through the election process. The positions can only remain vacant, basically, if you decided not to take any action, which I will never, ever recommend you to do, but if that was to happen, it would only basically last until this regular election, because those offices would automatically become part of the election this November. So it's not as if these positions could remain vacant through no action of your own. That's different if you are doing what you're supposed to under your charter to fill these positions. And if you're just not able to get someone onto the board, Mona, we were in the public, we pointed, it happens, like, that's different, like, that's a different scenario. Then y'all just simply not taking any action whatsoever, okay?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So if, just an example, someone from the board wants or is nominated or however, for the position of mayor, and they resign from the board, but they don't become the mayor, they're not on the board anymore.
So the mayor, your charter is written to where the mayor is actually a member of the board. So you have trustee positions or board member positions that are trustees, and you have the mayor.
So
But
the mayor
they're
can
all part of the board. Yeah,
Okay,
so that's why the mayor is able to vote
Okay.
on, well, Mayor Howard, when she was here, would always vote on things too.
Okay,
So that's why the process of filling a vacancy on the board applies to the position of mayor as well as to the trustees the same way. Okay, so if you are appointing someone from the public, we always recommend that you provide public notice to everyone, letting them know that you're going to be filling a position through appointment on the board, asking for people to submit, their applications, show their interest, and we usually set a date of a regular board member for people from the public who are interested on being on the board to come in, for you all to be able to discuss and talk before you'll actually do nominations. So that's typically what we do process wise, when we're looking at appointing someone from the public to a position. Which ultimately, again, will happen for whether it's mayor or it's a trustee position. Appointments, again, they only last until the next regular election, which is this November. If an office, not a person, but an office. Excuse me. If an office is 4 years, which you'll have rotating 4 years. If someone's appointed in year 3, they would be appointed until the next regular election. And then someone would be elected or potentially appointed and to fill that same office for its last 2 years. Someone is appointed in year 3, same concept, their position or that office is open for election, just as their normal term would end. We do this to keep y'all rotating on 4 years off and on. Because if someone was to basically run for the mayor position now, it will throw off the mayor's office's actual 4-year rotation term. So keeping that in mind. That is the main bullet points that I have. And so now I'm open to questions to help y'all clarify anything that y'all might have questions on.
So if I were not appointed to stay mayor pro tem mayor, I could go back to my trustee position.
So the mayor pro tem is really an officer of the board.
Yeah.
It's kind of like everyone's elected onto the board. You're all trustees, you're still a trustee.
Okay.
You're just for a 2-year period acting as the mayor pro tem. That is really it's a procedural step that's taken to assist the board with efficiency in meetings anytime the mayor is not available. So instead of the board having to, at each and every single meeting, elect and appoint one trustee to act as the mayor at that meeting, we just take care of it in January following the even years to appoint someone. So you're technically still a trustee, you are filling the office of a trustee, but you are an officer of the trustees as the mayor pro tem. If you were appointed to the position of mayor, then the office position of mayor pro tem would become open and another trustee member would take that through the voting process. Does that make sense?
and then there would be one position for a trustee from the public or wherever.
Yeah,
And,
well, the public, hopefully.
yes, sorry.
I'm here for you.
So when would that start? Okay, so next, explain when we would vote on that situation
But
Of mayor,
appointing
of mayor.
of mayor.
And how do we know who of the board wants to be the mayor?
Good questions. So your first step would be declaring the vacancy, which y'all will do at the next meeting. There would be a motion to declare the vacancy, and then you would all vote on it, declaring it. Technically, that's a procedural step that's separate from appointment. And if you don't declare the vacancy, then technically you can't really move into appointment. So we take care of that first. At that point in time, once the position of, the office of mayor is declared vacant through the official action that you'll take as the board. Anyone who is interested on the board, well, actually first. There would need to be more discussion from the board on how do y'all want to proceed with filling the vacancy? Do y'all want to do it by appointment? Do y'all want to do it by special election? Once there was a general consensus of how y'all wanted to proceed, if it was through appointment of someone on the board or even from the public. The people who are on the board could then put forward their names, nominate themselves. You can nominate someone if you wanted to. You could nominate trustee Wineland to the position of mayor for appointment. If, trustee Wineland was like, thank you, I will accept that. Then you would move forward with actually voting on that nomination and appointing trustee Wineland to that position of mayor. Trustee Wineland said, no, I do not want to be the mayor. Well, then you would move on and we would find someone else. If ultimately there was not a consensus to get to a point I said appoint to a point, that's weird, but it is two different, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to make that pun. So if we get to a situation where you are not able to appoint someone through a consensus of a vote that's on the board, then we can open it up to the public.
So we can only have one person that we all agree on, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, y'all would basically
Okay,
get to that position.
Is it a majority vote?
You have to have 4 approve, so it's a stronger majority. It's not just a majority of the quorum,
Okay.
so
and then we vote on a pro tem after that?
yes. I would recommend at that point that we try to fill the trustee vacant position. So assuming that a trustee member is appointed through your vote to the position of mayor. There's gonna be the open trustee position. I would recommend that you try to fill that position first, so you have a full trustee board, and then you as trustees vote on who you want to have as your mayor pro tem.
How can we
So
do
that
that?
person has that say too.
Can we do that when we don't know if the mayor position is gonna be filled from a trustee?
This is just hypothetical. I'm just walking you through the scenarios of how it could occur.
I think step one is determining if we wanna go through appointment or election.
Yep.
Correct. And we can't
And y'all
discuss
can
that
give
now.
me direction. Use, again, y'all can't vote and take an official action on doing any kind of appointment or doing a declaration of vacancy. But in general, if y'all right now, as we're talking through this, are like saying, I think that we would like to really consider doing the appointment process, not the special election. And you direct us to provide that information and be ready at the next meeting for y'all to be able to do that. You're not taking an official action, you're just directing us. So if that's what y'all like to do, I would love to hear that.
That's what my thought is trying to figure out who wants to do it and do it through appointment.
We won't talk about any individual person,
No,
it's
that's what
more
I'm
of
saying,
a.
instead of trying to do an election,
And then,
just because of the cost,
I mean, where we can cut a cost, that's great, but in years past, since I've been here, appointment has showed a lot of interest, and I feel like it's been successful thus far, but my opinion.
Okay, so if we have someone in mind that would maybe want to be a trustee that has never been to a meeting or knows nothing about this, would we invite them to come and sit in a meeting? Like
You
right
should
away?
always do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
Kinda like
I love
you did.
participation.
to see if they're interested. And how soon,
Or they can even watch the videos online,
mhm.
that's true, how
Yeah.
sit
soon,
at home and watch them.
Well-
binge watching.
but then we don't get to meet them. Or the rest of the people don't.
So if I get general direction. Or if Kim and I really get general direction from y'all that y'all would like to go forward with the appointment process. Especially because special election will be costly and it's really just through the end of this year.
That's my thought.
then we will move forward with that. And basically, we will have ready for the next meeting where y'all will be opening up the appointment process to someone on the board. Any person can nominate themselves, or you can nominate someone else. We'll go through this process. If there is a general consensus through this process where 4 people on this board vote yes for one of the board members that are here that's nominated and is accepting the position of mayor, then that person will be nominated through y'all's vote into that position. Not nominated, they'll be appointed. So then that person will become mayor through appointment. You would then be declaring that their trustee position is vacant. And then what we would do is provide public notice to everyone, such as your friend, that at the March meeting, we want them to come, so that way they're here, y'all can meet them and talk to them. Probably request if they're really interested, it's great if they submit some, written statement. Hello, my name is, this is what I do, this is how long I've lived here, this is my interest. It could be, I have never participated in this before, but I really want to be part of this process.
And we have an application that
Yeah,
we've used.
Perfect, and so we'll put that out there, people can submit them. We'll
Yeah.
have them at the March meeting for y'all to actually review, talk to them, meet them, and then you'll go through the same process of nominating one of those applicants, voting on appointing them. And if the first one y'all nominate, y'all all approve through 4 votes, then that person's nominated. If they're not, then you go to the next person. So that's how that process will work.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Do you have any other questions?
Trustee Smith, do you have a question? No.
With that said, you should probably let them know how many are up for reelection in November,
Yeah,
how many are going ballot.
I don't remember. Well, it'll be,
I am.
so your office as trustee,
Mhm.
the mayor's office would have gone to 2028, but we'll have to go for election. So I'll be filling the mayor's position though for 2 years.
Right.
And then 2028, the office for mayor will be up for election again, but for 4 years.
All but Jonathan,
I really don't know.
all but Jonathan.
Yeah,
For 2 years.
You too.
Off
yeah.
the ballot.
Mona, your position will be up for election, not ended, expired, but it's up for election.
Because it goes to the first election.
Yeah, because you were appointed.
So November,
Yeah,
okay.
which you can run for the position and,
Yeah,
there's nothing that
When
stops
it
you from
comes,
doing that.
when it comes time, we'll be coordinating.
Yeah.
We'll get all the,
When I first got on the board, I was appointed,
mhm.
and then it wasn't, but 8 months later, oh yeah, you're
You're done.
Yeah, you're done, your position's done, you gotta go for real, so then I had to, go through the petition process and get my name on the ballot, and then I was voted in.
yeah, so I will make sure you all have.
Put it on the board.
I'm like you were too.
This year.
Is that how you started it?
I was voting, but I didn't have much competition.
You ran first time?
I ran.
Yeah, I was appointed.
Sure.
That allows the,
So my
I think
term
it's
is
the code
official.
that allows us to cancel the election if there's not enough people running for the,
January 22.
Yes,
like if there's 4 positions.
She's already had to do it before.
Yeah,
yes,
Twice.
if there is not enough people running,
yeah, the hard part about that
no,
really is how we will treat the positions that will be 2 years. So your code allows for the situation, if there are 3 open positions running and there are 3 people who are actually running for those positions, instead of spending the costs on the election, we can go ahead and just say, never mind, you 3 people take those positions.
you're kind of automatic.
Yeah, your code and charter also say that when there's a situation that an office for 2 years is up and there's also an office for 4 years, then whoever gets the most votes will take the 4-year slot, and whoever gets less would take the 2-year slot.
Yes.
The problem here is if you cancel the election, there are no votes, so it makes it a little hard to figure out like who's taking 2-year slot versus a 4-year slot whenever
Rock,
that's
paper,
happening.
scissors.
So I think, what did you say at one time they did what they
They
do?
put names in a hat.
They put
Trevor,
names in a
I think that's how Trevor got on here. Or
Yeah.
did you get on here the year that they put the names in the hat and pulled them out of a hat?
Paper, scissors. That's really.
Yeah.
In order to
Other-
vote 2
other
years
towns
versus
have-
4 years.
Other towns have done
So.
that.
It's nothing in your code that says you can't do that, but.
Yeah, I've
It's
been
in the
listening
minutes.
because there's a bunch of spring elections.
It's in the
happening.
minutes, that's how we.
People have been talking about that and how they determine where people go on the ballots. They've been rolling dice and, you know, flipping coins and.
The ceramic.
Yeah, it's been a little crazy.
Small rural towns.
Small rural towns, yeah, there's some interesting stuff happening.
So I'm definitely feeling the consensus of direction
yeah.
is for appointment.
I would say.
I don't
At
think
least-
anybody has a
Okay.
want to spend 30,000.
No,
No.
we want drones.
Yeah.
They're less than that for,
Okay, I'm good with that too, because special elections take.
so any other questions? You're okay,
Okay.
all right, thank you.
Now I move to adjourn.
Oh, so moved. Second.
I need my pen. I don't, that's my state my pen.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
okay, next one.
I need you to tell me who was the first.
Okay. All in favor, say
Hold on,
aye.
hold on, hold on, hold on.
It was 8:27.
Jonathan Trevor.
Oh,
Should have taken the first one.
Hey, I'll talk to you guys in just a second. I have a feeling I know what you're looking for, so.
Okay.
Okay.
Actually, we were just
curious what goes
on.
Are you?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye, not fun.
What do you wanna do on Tuesday night? Actually?
Yeah.
So we move, adjourn the meeting at 8:27 PM.
Yeah.